Hi there, this is Sayar Talks, and during this podcast you will hear the conversation with the Russian media artist Helena Nikonole. She is an artist, curator, and educator that embraces hybrid art, the new aesthetics, the Internet of Things, and she has been working with artificial intelligence. So we will talk about the challenge she faced during her last projects and also her perceptions about artificial intelligence and creativity. So welcome again and stay tuned. Thank you for being here and giving us part of your time. I'm very happy to see you again. And let me start with a simple question. So for artists, it's very important the materials that they use to express their ideas. And why does working with artificial intelligence appeal to you?
I think there are many layers of understanding machine learning and AI, and also there are many layers of interest. First of all, what we called AI is basically machine learning and neural networks. And machine learning is so-called general purpose technology. It means it's already influencing our life, our reality on many different layers, and will be implemented even more broadly. So it's something really important for understanding the reality. And also, there are many interesting things related to machine learning. For instance, there's this metaphorical level, because create something artificially intelligent is also archetypical idea. Also, from philosophical perspective, there are also many different interesting things, like that we cannot basically reduce machine learning or actually any other algorithms to just some operations with numbers. It's something much more complicated. It's already some interactive system. So, and I really like the idea by Luciana Parisi, philosopher, and her research is focused on algorithms, and she thinks about algorithms from a mathematical point of view, and she from this scientific point of view, we cannot just reduce algorithms to these operations with numbers. It's something much more complicated. But I also don't like to call them entities or something like to talk about some subjectivity. I don't believe in this. But because it's not only a tool, so it's a tool, but it's something much more complicated. So we can think about it from this epistemological level, and it's also super interesting. So there are many different things which are interested me in AI, machine learning.
Thank you. That's really interesting to understand the current state of artificial intelligence is machine learning and neural networks, and the perspective of how we perceive them as an agent or as a tool. And in this case, using them as a tool, you have an artwork, bird language, that if I understood correctly, you train a neural network with the sounds of the birds, the nightingales, and then create a communication between these birds and the non-human agents, right? Making a conversation between nature and technology. And let's listen to this audio. For the people that doesn't know this artwork, the first 15 seconds is the real nightingale singing, and the rest is the singing generated by the neural network. That's really outstanding because you can really hear the process of how the neural network is being trained, and by then you can really not distinguish the difference between the initial sound and the one generated for the AI. So please, can you tell us a little bit more what was behind of this project? How did you train it? How this project born?
Yes, it was just the first stage of the project. It was an invitation from Garage Museum. They were doing this I Am exhibition. Curator Katina Zemtseva, and they created a super comfortable environment because they didn't ask me to do something, some great project or something. So they just asked me to experiment, and of course I think of course they wanted me to make a project, and of course I also wanted to make a project, but there were not any pressure. So they just said you can experiment wherever you want. If you will create something, that's great. If not, it's also totally okay. You can just present the results of your experiments, and it will be fine. So and I just started to experiment with machine learning and sound, and then I did some first tests, and then I decided to experiment with some different sounds like electroacoustic sounds and natural sounds like birds singing. And then I realized that if machine learning could just track some patterns from texts and to build this mathematical model of language, if we talk about human language, then I suppose that probably it could also build a mathematical model of bird language. And then I started to train it on sounds of birds. And then neural network generated some sounds, and I played the sounds to nightingales, and they actually kind of replied. But it was just the first stage of the project, because then I realized that we also could use machine learning to understand the meaning of this singing. And at this point, we started to work with computer scientists in a group of people, Natalia Soboleva, Nikita Prudnikov, and we started to experiment with different architectures, also create this translator. And now we are working with autoencoders, a machine learning approach. And now we build this tool which helps us to make segmentation and also to make a classification of this birth signs. So we can understand many different things, but not only meaning of the signs, but also potentially we can understand things like age of some particular bird. We can just also distinguish some particular bird using this tool. Actually, we have so many ideas, but also we don't have any budget for this project, because Garage supported some point, and they also supported middle point of the project. But now we don't have any budget for this project, so it's not so easy, because we also have some ideas. We definitely need some support to build some more. So it's not so easy also sometimes.
Yeah, the budget is always a critical point that make us depend on grants or residency or more stuff. But okay, let's imagine, because you have other projects, interspecial projects. I remember to be with Natalia Fedorova, and you were also analyzing the communication between bees with neural networks. So now imagine that I can give you a lot of money and I can funderize your research. What other projects with interspecies would you like to address?
I think I would love to work with dolphins. Also because they have so a complicated language. And I actually, when I started to work with birds, I already thought about dolphins at some point. But also it's not so easy because I can record nightingales here in Moscow, but I cannot record dolphins here. So it's not so easy. And also I had this idea that it would be amazing to work with dolphins because they're quite a complicated species and they have quite big brain, and I think we cannot understand many things about them and also about their communication. So it would be really inspiring to start to experiment with dolphins and with their language. And also I really love the idea that AI as a human agent can help us to understand other non-human agents, like animals, birds. So it's really great because, of course, we cannot understand many things yet about nature, about other species, and that's great that now we are in this age of Anthropocene. It's our impact to nature is terrible, but at the same point, we can use technologies to understand nature better and to understand other species.
Right, every technology has double end. When we talk about AI or machine learning, neural networks, do you think or do you consider that creativity is something they can develop in the future, or creativity is just for humans? What is your perspective of your feelings about creative machines?
It depends on what we think, what does it mean to be creative, what is creativity. I think if we consider creativity as a creation of new ideas and concepts, I think it's complicated question because I don't believe in some subjectivity of AI. But definitely, there are some examples when machine learning could produce something just mathematically. I mean, this project. The idea was to create some new ideas, some new concepts, and they also used the same approach as we use with pictures with this generative adversarial networks GANs, and they wanted to create some new ideas, and they made AI to invent something. So, and they wanted to register 2 patents with these inventions. It was not art, of course. It was just some inventions, but them I consider really, really interesting. They invented, not they, but machine learning just combined different ideas and invented this concept that there is some frequency of new idea in human mind. Some particular frequency for new original ideas. If we want to create some light, some signal, which would be really visible for humans, this light should pulsate with this frequency, the same frequency as we have our ideas in our brain. So, and because this is something like really distinguishable, so humans cannot just not recognize this. And I think it's an interesting idea and was created by machine learning. But if we talk about arts, for instance, I don't think that at this point machine learning can create some original idea if we talk about arts. But also, I don't know. It's really complicated because we also can. Maybe we should try. Maybe we should try because sometimes some ideas also created by artists, by humans, they can be considered as some kind of combinatorics, like we take this kind of media and combine with the other kind of media, and then we achieve something interesting. But maybe if we can try to work like this, maybe it could. So it's not so easy.
Right. But neural networks indeed generate something. So I remember your artwork, Deus Ex Machina, where the neural network was fitted with different sacred texts, right? And eventually the AI, the neural network, made its own sacred text, and then you had some IP cameras with speaker, and a voice started to recite it, to say this new text, and it was very interesting to see the reaction of the people. And I was wondering if someday they realized that it was part of an artwork or not.
No, probably never.
So there is just a memory that some entity took control of the camera.
Yes, and the people also were really surprised, because you cannot just think about this some mistake or some glitch, because it definitely has this sacred style. I mean, this pitch, and that's why people were really surprised, because they couldn't understand what's going on. They also. Also, they couldn't think about this as about some hack, some prank, let's say. Also because of this robotic voice, and about this content, about this sacred content. So many of them were really surprised, and some of them were trying to record it with smartphones. So. Just to show other people what's going on.
Yes, because it's not common that your surveillance camera start to talk like a god or something. So it is really interesting. But you have these public space cameras. Did you have some problem, or did you ask for some permission to make this? Or how was the process behind it?
No, never. I always answer this question because it's a popular question. I thought about this from the very beginning when I exhibited this project, because for the first time I showed it without this live hacking. It was just a video documentation. All other times I showed it. Actually, I showed this live hacking as script, like this algorithm which was like doing it in live. And I was really worrying what could happen, because but at some point I thought it was kind of not me, because it was an algorithm.
So then the AI become a subject.
I think in this case we can think about them as about subjects. Because it's but also it's a museum or gallery showing the project, and I think in this case museum or gallery takes all responsibility if they show this kind of project with live hacking. And yes, but I never had any problems with this. I showed this project also in Russia and also in Germany several times, and I never had any problems. I sometimes I received some emails from people, and I remember one email was surprised me. Some person found me on Facebook and sent me a message like, it's not my real name and it's not my real picture, but can you maybe post your project, the code of your project on GitHub, because I would like to use it.
That's really cool.
Yes.
In make us think about our responsibility as an artist. It's really, really nice how people approach.
Yes.
And last year, you were invited to present your works at Ars Electronica, that is still kind of the benchmark festival for art and science projects. So, what have changed after you present there your work, or how was the experience of being there as an artist presenting your projects?
I think maybe I think I was surprised because after that I met people, and then we started to talk to them. And then at some point when I told them about my work, and says, "Oh yes, I know, I saw your project on Ars Electronica," I was surprised. Actually, I didn't expect this. Well, so maybe this. And of course, I visited Ars Electronica before, but it was completely different to participate. Also because it's to feel myself as a part of this world community. It's also really, really important. And I also thought that this is similarity between our science community and art community, because I mean new media arts, and I don't know what about like traditional contemporary. Do artists feel part of world community? But if we talk about science art and new media art, I think this is there is this similarity between science and new media, because scientists also kind of feel part of community because they participate at conferences, and they always communicate. And this is like, you cannot be a scientist like this separately. You always should feel as a part of this community. And it's the same with new media arts. So it was really great just to be there.
Well, to finalize this part, what kind of advice could you give for the new artists, the aspiring artists working with new media or other species or technology like artificial intelligence, for example?
What can I advise? I think maybe I can give the same advice for just all artists. I think the most difficult and the most important just to understand what do you really want to do, what do you really want to explore, and just to feel some passion, because also there are so many technologies and so many ideas, and but you never know what is the most interesting to you. Well, I think also because there is some hype around machine learning, for instance, because I actually started it before this hype. But now maybe many people just want to work with AI, not only because it's really something they have passion to, but also because of this hype. And I think this can be dangerous also because it's super intensive technology, and its impact to environment is also quite big. So you have to think always, if you really want to work, if your idea could be just realized only with machine learning, or you maybe don't have to use machine learning to create what you want to say, to just introduce your message. And well, it's not so easy. So and also in this context of climate change, it's really important to think about environment and about this impact if you work with this kind of technologies. So, and if we work, for instance, with machine learning, we have to think about how many epochs we use to train our model, and if we can reduce this impact. So this is really important. Well, but the most important, I think, also just to understand your passion.
I think that is very enlightening for students and new artists. So thank you. And again, thank you for your time. It has been very inspirational, very interesting. And I hope to see more of your projects as an artist, as a creator soon.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It was so nice to talk to you.
Пока.
Пока.
That was part of conversation with Helena Nikonole, and she's a very interesting person and she's doing a lot of stuff. So we'll have a second part when we talk a little bit about her curatorial projects and experience. Stay tuned for that. But next week we will have Anna Dumitriou. She is a bioartist and she will tell us about her work with infectious diseases and the challenge of bioart. My name is Laura Rodriguez. This is SciArt Talks, a project for the Art and Science Center at ITMO University. And see you next week. Stay tuned.